I was just sitting here looking at this this little trinket that one of my friends gave me. People give me stuff all the time pertaining to music and things of that nature. And I thought before I share with you this song that I've written, I wanted to show you a couple of these things. Here's a good example right here. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. I got a lot of crap sitting here on my desk. Got to try to keep up with. So my sister, Dana, I don't know if you guys know, I have twin sisters. They're way younger than me. They were born when I was like 13, 14 or something like that. And they were by my stepfather, so they're my half-sisters. But it don't matter, because I love my little sister Dana. She's so sweet. Her and her husband, they live down the road. They're the ones that have the blueberry farm that I talked to you about a lot. And she's a nurse. I can never say this because of my darn tooth missing right there that I lost in a bike accident. He's a nurse anesthetist. Hey, I did it. And she's a nurse. So, but they've got this blueberry farm. It's about, I don't know, a mile down the road. Maybe a half a mile by way of crow flies, as we say back home in Virginia. And they go on vacation every year somewhere exotic or something, you know, like they past couple of years, they love to go to the Bahamas. They've been to Hawaii a couple times, and every time they go, she brings me back some little trinket, you know. And this year she brought me this little thing. Let me see if I'm going to block my face out so this will focus and the camera will focus on it. There we go. It's a little, probably a hand-carved guitar, but it opens up. It's got these little magnets in it, and it opens up, and you put guitar picks in it. How cool is that? And then it's got this little stand, this little wooden stand. I hope it don't fall apart because it's got two pieces to it, and they kind of crisscross and kind of clip into each other. It's got a little wooden stand, and you set that in there like that, you know. And I propped this up on one of my speakers in the living room on my home theater system. I mean, I'm running out of places to put things, people. So just to let you know, if you ever come to visit and it's not visible, I get a lot of stuff. Like way back, people like to give me coffee cups. I'm currently using this one right here. It has Westies on it, and most of you know that we've had 3 Westies in over a 24-year period. We had KC Jazz, and then McKenna was my last one. But people give me these cups like this that have little Westies on them. There you go. Is that not cute? And what I'm doing is I'm using this little hand fan. Hear it running? Turn that back off so it don't make noise in my microphone. I'm using that to sit on my desk because my cancer meds are causing me to have these severe sweats, man. I mean, I'll be sitting there and within a second, and this happens quite often, every piece of my clothing is soaking wet. I'm like I just worked out in a gym. Sweat's running down my forehead, and even my eyes, man. It's horrible. But that's another story for another time. I plan on giving you guys an update, but I won't do it this time. So they bring me stuff like that all the time. Tim McDonald, my old friend from high school, he's a guitar player. You know, he gave me a ton of instruments when I lived in Virginia. A lot of them are still hanging back here behind my head. Until he did that, I only ever carried one guitar, and I may have had two at any given time. You know, I mean, I just never found a reason to have a bunch of guitars. I just needed one good one, and that's white Strat right there beside of the black one. I would raise the camera up and show it to you, but you guys have seen that thing a million times. I've been playing it since 1985. It's been through like 4 or 5 different configurations and paint jobs, most of which were all white, but they were all sparkle or just, you know, off-white or something like that. But anyway, that's enough about that. Most recently, the gifts that I've gotten that I wanted to show you came from a girl that helps me out at the pageant. You know, Terry's pageant is called World's Miss Tourism. We do that once a year here in Nashville, and I help out with the sound and the lights. So there's a lady that's one of the legacy queens. She won several years back, and when they do that, you know, a lot of them get crowned. I don't really get all this stuff. You'd have to talk to Terry about it, because I just basically blow in, you know, once a year. It takes a couple of months of my time to get the lights and the sound together, and pipe and drape and all that sort of stuff, and music for it and all that all that's just anything that has to do with the production of it. I do that for them, and I've never really had a lot of help, you know, except for unloading the truck and stuff. But this one lady that started helping me with the pipe and drape, the curtains that go up, she started back in probably 2018 or something like that. And every year she just really started paying attention to what I was doing. And each year she came back, she started doing a little bit more. Her name's Carrie O'Gorman. Love you, Carrie. You are a sweetheart. And you've been a tremendous help to me. But every year she comes, she brings me one of these little gifts. And I wanted to share those with you. So, you know, like in this year, she brought me a little thing. It's kind of like a hanging on a string, like a Christmas decoration type thing. It's got a little Westie on it. And she does this because in 2019, right in the middle of the pageant, while I was running sound, McKenna decided she was going to have a heart attack, and I lost her. It was really, really difficult to get through. But so once in a while, Carrie will bring me something, you know, with a Westie on it. She knows how much I loved McKenna and how much McKenna loved me. But then there's these little trinkets on the back. They're kind of like stuff you'd see on a charm bracelet. There's a little heart that says, "You are always in my heart." There's a little guitar, you know, a little Stratocaster, and then a couple of little plaques. One of them says warrior and the other one says brave, and those are pertaining to, you know, me battling my cancer right now and the heart attack that I had before the cancer. So Anyway, that was from this year. The year before, she gave me this. Hang on. Oh. She does this thing where she, like, I call it a wood burning. She burns this stuff into wood. So this one says, this is a quote by, oh, I bit my jaw. I don't know if you could hear my jaw pop, but I've got a little bit of TMJ going on. I got all kinds of crap going on from these surgeries and things I've been through recently that are killing me. But anyway, it says, try to express your own ideas. It's much more difficult to do, but the rewards are there if you're good enough to pull it off. C. Atkins. And then there's a Strat right down here, and then a Telecaster over here, and it says Strat versus Telecaster. And this hangs on the wall relatively right in that dead space behind my head back there between those guitars. I took it down to show it to you. So that was last year. The year before, she had noticed that I had brought a back scratcher to the pageant, and while I sat out there running sound for 3 days, all day long, 3 days, I'm doing this every once in a while. I love these things, man. Oh, yeah. Anyway, that's one of the back scratchers she gave me. She gave me a pack of them. There's like 11 of them in there. So I've got one in each room in the house, and you know, they're everywhere within an arm's reach. I keep those around all the time. I love them. And, you know, that was like 2023, 2022. No, that was 2022. 2021, this was really special to me because 2020, we didn't have a pageant. So, because of the pandemic. So, in 2019, when I lost McKenna and she had seen how much it meant to me, she couldn't give this to me the next year, so she brought it in 2021. This is a little picture of McKenna, and it's in a little glass bubble with a flat back on it, and it looks like this. I love this. This is really special to me because she was my baby. I put a piece of Velcro on the back of it, and this attaches to my guitar pedal board, and right up in the left-hand corner. So if I'm ever to go out and play a gig again, and by the way, my pedal board's sitting right here in front of me on my desk where I can work as I'm playing guitar and recording. It's attached to that, so I look at that all the time, and it's a constant reminder I don't want to forget her. And even though there's a lot of pain associated with looking at that, this is my segue into telling you about this song that I just wrote. It's there's a warning that comes with it, okay? It's not what you would typically hear from me. It started out in 2012 when I lost a dear friend, Larry Johnston. Larry had cancer, and he got pneumonia, and he's laying in the hospital in Radford, Virginia. I wanted to put that back in its rightful place before I lose it. Anyway, Larry's laying in the hospital, and he gives me a call. He said, I'm living in Harrisonburg, Virginia at the time, which is about three hours or something away, maybe a little more. I don't know. I can't remember. No. I was living in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which was 3.5 hours away. Straight down 81, Interstate 81 to Roanoke, and then up to Radford. He said, I need to see you. And I had no idea he was even in the hospital. And he told me what was going on. And he assured me. He said, man, you know, just come on down here. I've got some things I want to talk to you about. And it was pertaining to some gear, I think, that he wanted to give to me. And, you know, just kind of shore up some things with us in case something happened. And I had to ask him, you know, I said, man, are you going to be there when I get there? And he said, yes. But I told him, I said, man, right now my car is in the shop. It was broke down. It was in the shop. And I wasn't going to be able to get it back for like 24 hours or something. But he said, man, as soon as you get it back, just come on. So I packed my bags. I get in the car the next day, and I head down Interstate 81. I got about halfway there, and I got a call from his sister. She told me to turn around and go back home. That was hard, really hard. I think it was the next weekend. I went back down there and sang in his funeral. That's the one and only time I've ever sang at a funeral. I'll never, ever, ever do that again. You hear me, guys? I ain't doing that. I can't. I've got a history of suffering from panic attacks. And that day, right before they called me up there, it was, oh my gosh, I can't even put it into words. I almost ran out the back door of the church, to tell you the truth. I wasn't going to do it. But I had called a friend to play keyboards with me, and she was sitting right there beside of me on the front bench. And when I started to get up, she grabbed me by the arm and just held on really tight. She kept whispering to me, you can do this, you can do this. So she kind of, you know, that's basically what she was there for in the first place, for emotional support and make sure that I got through it. So I did that. And then, you know, McKenna passed away in 2019. Now I'm talking about this song, what it's about and how, well, maybe not what it's about, but what got it started. I started writing it in 2012 when Larry passed away. In 2019 came around and I lost McKenna. I went through another grieving period and I thought about this song, but I never could finish it. You know, I had a chorus or something, or a first verse or something, I don't remember. And then the pandemic rolled around in 2020, and we all know what happened there. Our friends and family, whew. I mean, every time you turn around, somebody's gone. And now we're old. And it's still happening today. You know, every time I turn on my computer and go to Facebook, it's like reading an obituary. You know, Johnny Barker, tore me up. A lot of people like that, you know, have passed away, man. They're gone now. And between last year and this year, last year was brutal. I lost my mother and my father within just a short period of time, like 6 months of each other. And then after the first of the year in February, I had prostate surgery. Then I had a heart attack. Then they told me I have cancer. And just last weekend, I had another heart episode. Caught it in time that I'm not really calling it a heart attack, even though they did have to do an emergency stent, just like they did the first time. So within 6 months, I've had 3 surgeries and been told that I have cancer. No doubt, I'm in this thing in my head about losing my friends and me possibly going somewhere. So this song kept popping up in my head, and by the way, I've written 10 songs or so, something like that. I haven't counted them, but there's 8 to 10 or like something, and they're all really, really good. But I can't sing, and I can't play guitar right now. So all I can do is work on these lyrics. And there's blessings in everything if you look for them. One of the blessings of that is right now is that these songs that I've got, and I've probably got 100 of them, that just have a verse and a chorus, or maybe just a hook line or something in 2 or 3 lines. All that stuff I've been pulling back out, and these lyrics are just flooding, man. I don't know where they're coming from. It's unbelievable. They've got my mind so occupied that that's all I hear. I can't hardly sleep. I can't. Everything I do from the time I wake up till the time I wake up the next day, if I even sleep at all, these songs are just going through my head. So I got the one out about Larry, and I had some other ones that I had written. I had written one about, I didn't go to my dad's funeral because this isn't a whole nother story that I can talk to you about, but I felt cheated, really. When I read the obituary and I saw that I was listed last, and I'm his only son, real son, blood son, it really upset me. And then my stepbrother and his family and everything, they've never once offered me not even the button off of his shirt. I didn't want anything other than maybe something that he owned, that he loved. I'd like to have something, like I got a little handkerchief that my mom used to carry to church all the time. And it's got some hand embroidery on it that she got from one of my friends in 1979 for Mother's Day. She loved that little thing. She carried it to church all the time. And I've got that from her funeral. There were several other things that were offered to me. One of them was a really pretty portrait of her in a giant, nice frame, gold leaf type frame that I could have hung on the wall, but I had it in my room for a little while, and that kind of freaked me out. Every time I'd walk in there, Mom's sitting there staring at me, I'm like, Mom, I'm in my underwear, okay? But it was kind of weird. We don't have those types of photos anywhere in our house, except I've got one of my grandfather and my grandmother hanging in the living room. That's on the Alexander side. Anyway, I get this song out, and the lyrics started coming to me, and I wanted to share those with you. Now, since my surgery, this time, I'm having these almost like mini stroke type symptoms. Physically, I could play, but I can't really. Mentally, I'm slow, man. I'm like, I'm not retaining things. Now, that could be from all the surgeries, and anesthesia really mess you up for a time after you come out of surgery too. But I didn't really get put under like they would if they were doing open heart surgery. Not that far. But they did beat me up pretty bad. If you saw what was under this shirt, I'd have to share some of my nausea medicine with you. I'm serious. I've got tracks from here all the way up to here where they've drawn blood. I've got places all across the bottom of my stomach where they shot me in the stomach with the nitro, whatever it is, stuff to keep my heart working until I could get the surgery the next morning. And I'm on these serious blood thinners. They kept shooting me up full of more of those. So every time they gave me a shot, I get these, you've probably seen them on old people, those types of bruises that look like a big patch of blood right underneath the top of the skin. Well, that's what my arms look like, my chest and my belly. My chest is all broke out because I'm allergic to the glue on those electrodes that they stick on you for the electrocardiogram. I'm wore out, man. I'm hoping it's going to get better because I tried so hard yesterday to make this video and at least play the chords for you so you could hear it. And I couldn't. I couldn't do it. So you'll have to hear it. I'm going to sing the melody for you, and it's probably going to sound horrible. I don't care. I just want you to hear these words, and maybe you can imagine what the music's going to sound like. And I don't care how long it takes. One of these days, I'm going to have all these songs finished up, and I hope to be able to release an album. Before I leave this planet, I want my own album. I've released singles, but I want an album. That's my goal. So these are the things that keep me alive outside of my wife. So very quickly, let me tell you about that. I know you probably turned this off a long time ago. I wouldn't be alive without her. Plain and simple. That girl watches me like a hawk, and she is wore out. She's probably more tired than I am. The chair was broken. They have a recliner in that little small hospital room that I was in on Thursday night, I think it was, because I had my surgery on Friday morning. So Thursday night, she stayed with me all night long. She was afraid to leave me. Neither one of us were prepared to stay at the hospital. I had gone to my oncologist because I felt what was coming on because of what happened before. I kind of knew. I'm getting a little familiar with heart attacks now. So she sat over there in a broken recliner. The bottom part that you pull your feet up with would work, but the back of it was laid straight back against the wall, and it wouldn't come up. So she couldn't sit up at all. She sat in that thing all night long. She's so sore. I love her, man. She's a trooper. And we don't have children. We've never been able to have children, so we don't really have people around that can help. And she didn't want to leave me anyway, so that she didn't have any choice, really. I mean, I've got a sister, Giovanna, that comes anytime we need her. And Dana, of course, she's a nurse, but she was out of town. She was up on the lake on their boat, staying out there. So here it is, man. This is how it goes. I don't even have a title for it yet. I think I might call it The Miss. It don't make any sense until you hear the song, but maybe it's enough to hook people into wanting to hear it. Today is the day they laid you in your grave. I failed to tell you. This is about that verse started. I wrote that verse, right? The verse you're about to hear. This one in the second verse all the way up to the chorus. I think I had the chorus from Larry passing away, but I didn't have any verses. So the day they buried my father, I was sitting right here, and I'm thinking about what's going on down there in Virginia, Draper Valley Pentecostal Holiness Church, where everybody's gathered. I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I get this visual of what's going on. So I took that idea, and I tried to write a song that could pertain to anyone losing someone they love, or several people they love. So it's like, today is the day they laid you in your grave. All the memories of your life would soon start to fade. Secrets were sealed away as long forgotten sins, like the wound of brokenness we carry deep within. Dressed in his best attire, with no smile upon your face. Whoops. Dressed in your best attire, with no smile upon your face. People stared and grief began to fill the place. The joy that once filled your eyes became a shadow in their mind, slowly being washed away by all the tears they cried. Then it goes into the chorus. I don't want to get over you, so the mist never goes away. My heart is heavy, but I'm glad that you'll be with me every day. They'll want me over you, but I don't care what they say. I don't want to get over you, so the mist never goes away. That's all I'm going to give you right now. I have verse 3 and 4 and a bridge that I'm still kind of, I've got them, but they're still, I'm kind of working on them. I've always looked at songwriting like whittling. It's kind of like you chop down a tree, then you, or maybe not chop down a tree, but you cut off a limb. Then you get your, you look for that size limb that you need, and you cut that off. Then so you chop those off and cut them off or whatever, and then you pull out your pocket knife or whatever you whittle with, and you start fine-tuning this thing, man. You start taking that one little piece of wood that's the right size you want. You start cutting stuff into it. So I always say something like you chop and you whittle along until one day you've got a song. You just keep carving away and whittling at that thing until you get it perfect, exactly the way you want it. And that's the way songwriting is, man. I mean, this song, I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish it. I want to finish it up real soon because I'd love for you guys to hear it. But I started writing it in 2012. So that's a long time. I can't think of anything else I need to talk to you about right now. This thing has gone a long time. And I appreciate it if anybody's been around sitting here listening to me jabber. I don't mean to go so long, but there's a lot going on. You know, the doctors, the first thing they started calling me was complicated. You know, when they were trying to figure out all this stuff that's going on with me, they said, man, you're complicated. We'll get it, but you're complicated. Now they call me fragile. You know, now that they know what's going on and they're trying to get it right with all these medications and stuff, they're like, you know, you're fragile right now. We got to be careful with these. So anyway, complicated and fragile. I'm out. Peace. Love y'all. To the moon and back.